Hi EAC, this is part one of your writing for this second week of at-home learning. You're going to need your young author's journal, you're going to need a pencil, and I've got colored pencils out again. You can have crayons. If you're using markers, you might put a piece of paper in between the pages so that the markers don't bleed through. I'm going to use colored pencils. I find those easiest to add details with. Okay, so today we're going to start putting together our first story. It's a narrative story. So narrative is when we narrate something that could be happening. Maybe it's something that did happen to us or somebody else, or it could be a made-up story too. So a lot of books that we read are narratives. When they have characters, people or animals in it, those are all narrative type stories. So we're going to work on our first one. I really enjoyed seeing all of your ideas of things you could write about from last week. I added to my list. I've got some things that are personal topics on this side. I've got some fantasy, fictional things over on this side. So I've got my family, vacation, my dog, soccer, basketball, some sports that our family likes. I could teach about them or tell about a time we played them. Teaching, I know a little bit about teaching. Bike riding, cooking, coffee, Guatemala. My family goes there a lot. I could tell a story about being down there. I could tell a story about learning Spanish. Some things that I could make up. I could make up a story about when I grew up. I could pretend to be an astronaut or a famous person, singer, president. I could make something up about that. The time I met a unicorn. That could be a fun story. When I learned to fly. That would be really fun. What could I do if I had learned to fly? So the page we're going to be working on mostly is the very next page. It's my brainstorm box. But before we get there, what I want you guys to think about is what could your story be about? And you can pick any of these topics that you wrote down. You could even come up with something different. For me, I think I'm going to write about something that happened to me because I feel like it's going to be an easier thing to start with for our very first piece. So if it's something I've experienced, I've done, then I'm going to know a lot of details about it, and that's going to make my writing easier. So I'm going to write about a vacation that my family took this summer. One of the places we went was to the beach, and so I think that's going to be an easy one for me to kind of remember what happened and be able to write down. So before I start in my brainstorm box, I'm going to turn back to this page. It's just a few pages in your book. And it's the 5W details. So when I'm brainstorming, I want to answer these questions. I want to answer, who was I with? So who are the other characters in my story? What did I do? Well, I told you guys I went to the beach. So I did some things that you would do at the beach, play in the sand, jump in the waves, look for shells, did some of those things. Who was I with? I was with my family, so my kids and my husband. When did it happen? That was in the summer. I think we went in July. Where was I? Well, I was at the beach. We stayed in a house. Why was I there? Because we wanted to take a vacation together as a family. So I'm going to try and show those things in my brainstorm box. Over here. Okay, so the first question was, who was I with? So that one, I'm going to draw out my family. Maybe I'll use a pencil to start with. So here we go. Let's see. And this is just a brainstorm box, so it's not something I'm going to take a lot of time with my drawings. There's Mrs. Racinos. and it was pretty cold while we were there, so I was definitely wearing long sleeves and pants. There we go. My hair's a little bit longer than that. And then Mr. Racinus was with me. His hair's a little bit shorter than mine. Okay, and our 3 kids. Isaac, he's got kind of a longer hair than his dad. He doesn't mind shorts when it's cold out. He doesn't feel the cold. And Ariana. And Felicia. Okay, so I've answered the question of who. What was our next question over here? What did we do? So, in order to show what we did, kind of need to show where we were, right? So, maybe here's where I need to add in some color. Let's add in the water, behind us coming in, the waves. There's the horizon line. And let's see, the sand, it's kind of a combo color for sand. Let's see, I'll add in some orange. And some yellow to show the sand here. So one of the things we did was jump in the waves. So I'm going to draw some waves back here. I'm going to draw some splash droplets showing us jumping in. Maybe an arrow. Mostly the kids would do that. Jumping in. I could label it jump. Another thing we did, I think I showed you guys in one video, Felicia dug out a crab. The pinchers there. Out of the sand. She thought she was just digging up a shell, but it was still alive, and it was not happy with her that she dug it out of its hiding spot. But we did find some shells. Okay, so there's the crab. We dug up some shells. But I'm not going to draw the sky back there because the entire time we were there until maybe the last day, there was this fog that blocked our view of the beach and the ocean. We were in a house that had big windows facing out towards the ocean, but we couldn't even see it because the fog was so thick. Okay, so I've got some details there to tell about. Okay, when did it happen? That was in July, so it was this summer. So I could just label that July of 2020. We were there for 1 week. Okay, so that tells some details there. That's another question. Where was I? Well, the place we were at was called Seal Rock, Oregon. So maybe I'll put this up here like a banner, like a label, a sign. Oop. Seal Rock. Okay, and why were we there? It was our family vacation. Maybe I'll label that down here. Family vacation. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is draw something that you can add a lot of details about. Get it colorful. Add as many labels as you can. Then when you load it into Seesaw, what I would like you to do is to tell me all about it. I want you to tell me all of those 5 questions. I was with Mrs. Racinos, Mr. Racinos, Isaac, Ariana, and Felicia. We were at a place called Seal Rock. We were on our family vacation. When we were there was a lot of fog and we couldn't see the ocean or the sand most of the days we were there. We were there July of 2020. We were there for 1 week. We did jump in the waves some. We unburied a crab that got very crabby with us. We collected shells. Okay, so just like that, record that into Seesaw so that I can hear the beginning of your story. Thank you so much.